Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to House Bill 4052, and I want to make a few comments about the bill and about a specific section of the bill, which one of my colleagues, representative from Southfield, referenced earlier, because I think it really goes to the heart of the problem we have with this legislation. I want to start with the name of the legislation. It's being referred to as the Local Government Labor Regulatory Limitation Act, but given the breadth, the overreaching nature of this legislation, this title really amounts to false advertising. This is not what we're doing here today. We are not strictly limiting the labor management relationship within local government. We are doing far, far more than that. And I really think it's important that people recognize that, people within this chamber and people outside of this chamber, that they know we're doing a lot more than that today. This bill is a time bomb. We are undermining the fundamental basis of governance in this state and really the fundamental basis of democracy here in this state and really the basis of democracy upon which the entire country rests. And it boils down to this. We have a system of governance where we delegate authority to certain levels of government, but at the end of the day, we leave undelegated powers to the lowest level of government in our system. And that's local government. That's the level of government that is closest to the people and most accountable to the people. And what we have here today is a straitjacket that we're imposing on local government across a broad array of issues. It is not simply about employees and management of employees. It is about a great many more issues. And to prove that, I'm just going to go over Section 4 of this bill. Section 4 reads, "A local government body shall not adopt, enforce, or administer an ordinance, local policy, or local resolution regulating the relationship between an employer and its employees or potential employees." That means anybody. "If the regulation contains requirements exceeding those imposed by state or federal law." Well, pretty much anything a local government does, it will do with an employee or a potential employee, which could be anybody. So essentially what we're saying is we're giving the state carte blanche to reject, to nullify the actions of local governments. I can't think of anything that is more at odds with the American system of governance than this. It's really hard to come up with something that is more at odds. And as somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was yesterday when we were beginning to talk about this bill, that we're supposed to be here in the United States in a laboratory of democracy. And the states are seen as, from the perspective of the federal government, the laboratories where we come up with new ideas, test them, perfect them, and then propagate them around our whole system. Well, I think it's very reasonable to say that within our state, as we view it from the state level here in Lansing, local governments are the laboratories of democracy within our state. And to impose this kind of straitjacket on local governments is really a disservice to our state and to the people of our state, and it is something that will outlive all of our tenures. Whether you have a year and a half left in your tenure or 6 years or...
Members, if we may please have your attention, one of our colleagues is trying to address us. Thank you. The chair recognizes Representative Townsend.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that. I'm going to close, but I want you to understand what you're doing today. I intend this in the best spirit, that often we don't know what we do. And we should be humble when we make legislation. We should be humble about the consequences that we are unleashing upon our system. And for that reason, I urge that you reject this legislation. Let's send it back to the committee. Certainly, the chairman of the committee has expressed an interest in trying to improve it. We are not done, and we should reject this legislation today and go back to work on something that makes sense. Thank you.